welcome to my little podcast. That's it.
That's the whole thing.
That's it.
That's good though. Like, you don't. I was listening to a podcast the other day. The intro was 7 minutes before I actually got to what I wanted to hear.
What?
It was just lots of ads and then talking about other shows, and I'm like, I get it. Like, this is good, but just get me to the guts. So this is great. 7 seconds, beautiful, perfect.
Done. Efficiency, I like to call it.
That's, there's nothing wrong with that. Just there you go, done, sorted. Oh,
here you go.
What a great episode. We'll just finish there. This is the end now. The whole show is 10 seconds long.
We're done. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tom?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Tom. This isn't my podcast. I am on it though. So yeah, my name's Tom. I am a part of Sanspants Radio, which is a podcast network based in Melbourne, with a whole bunch of shows across all over the place. I do a bunch of them, some about footy, some about Dungeons and Dragons, and one in particular about horror movies called Scaredy Boys, which is me and two mates who hate horror movies. Like, I'm a big coward, they're big cowards, and we thought, wouldn't it be funny if us being big cowards, we watched horror movies and reviewed them? And then, like, it was a great idea, and we got, like, the tick from the producer, and we started, we sat down to do the first episode, and the first movie started, and we were like, oh no, we have to watch these. Oh no. So, yeah, my relationship with horror is love, hate. Like, yeah, I get excited and then I remember what it is.
Because you guys do it a little bit different. You guys talk about how you would survive the certain situations in horror movies, and that just cracks me up.
Yeah, look, we do, but a lot of us have strategies. My strategy is to side with the bad guy immediately. Often in those scenarios, it's like, does Michael Myers need an assistant? I'll help him out. Yeah, no worries. I'll help him kill some teenagers.
Don't worry, I got this.
Yeah, no. So that's the approach we take, because we talk about if we're frightened, and then obviously one of the mainstays of horror is, do people behave cleverly? Are they do they make the right choices? And then how would we go if we were faced with the same scenario? And we survive a bit. We survive a lot, actually, because unlike characters in movies, we don't have to make the logical hurdle of being like, is this real? No, there's no such thing as a ghost monster living in the lake. We're just like, yep, no, that's legit. I believe you. A man coming to get me in my dreams, done. Yeah, I believe you. I'm 100% on board.
So there's no like, this, am I going insane? It's like, okay.
No, yeah.
I'm insane already.
Yeah.
This
Sign
is
me up.
happening
I'm
right
in.
now.
Like, yeah, if someone came and was like, this house is haunted, I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure, what's next? You don't have to convince me.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, cool, tick, done.
Yeah. So,
see,
yeah.
Paranormal and supernatural horror is, and I say this on every episode, a big no for me.
Yep. No, I get that.
Like, I just hate it. So ghosts are a big no.
I don't like any of them. No, so that's weird. So here's the thing. I did say off air just before we recorded that I am the bravest scaredy boy, and I don't mean that. I just mean that I've watched the most horror movies out of us. Like, my relationship with horror is complicated in that I love reading horror. I read a lot of horror. Books don't freak me out the way films do. You can't get a jump scare in a book. So that's really good. If anyone invents a way to do that, fuck them. That's bad.
I'm burning every one of their books.
Yeah, correct. Never going to read that one. And then, so I like watching some horror. I enjoy horror movies to a degree, but also in the moment, I'll be watching them and I'm just like, I'm dying. Why am I I will often, I'm very open about this, I've watched movies with my hand like over my face for like 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. That's allowed. So I like it. And then I remember that it's scary. It's almost like I get tricked by like the idea of, we're going to watch this. Like, perfect example, I went to see Midsummer with a friend and he was like, oh, this is going to be great.
That movie's so good.
Well, yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I was like going in like, oh yeah, no, this is going to be good. We're going to watch this movie. Great, fantastic. And then the trailers in the cinema started and they were all trailers for other horror movies. And I was like, oh no. Oh, what have I'm in the movie now. that's it. It's too late for me. I can't go back. I'm here. And thankfully, Midsommar is really good and distressing and scary, but not in a too jump scary kind of way. Look, I'm of the belief that Midsommar has a happy ending. That's just me.
Me too.
Yeah, she's happy at the end.
I was just like, she got her happy ending.
She did. She got what she needed.
Do you reckon she stayed and lived with the cult?
Well,
do you think she went
I assume so. You know, she finally... Look, this isn't the movie we're talking about, but she finally got someone to empathise with her. No one else cared about her the whole way through the movie, and then the weird cult people did. So, you know, happy
I need to find me a cult. I mean, no, I don't mean that like nobody cares about me. Sorry, family. I just meant like I wanted a happy little cult to be like, woo, cat.
I mean, that's not Hey, look, a
hype man.
That's all you need. A hype. You want to create a hype man, so you start a cult. And look, as long as no one's getting like sacrificed, you're doing fine. Like,
then I don't want to be a part of the cult.
Oh, okay, all right. So you do want, right? So your hype man is I want someone to cut someone's heart out on a stone slab for me. That's.
I mean, they can just poison them. That's like
still death. That's still murder.
It's not gory though.
It's still murder.
So, I don't really want those things. I just have a really disturbing sense of humour.
Oh, that's fine.
My grandma always says to me, hey, Kat, you know, if I ever get so sick and old that I can't look after myself, can you kill me? She's like, can you smother me? Can you do something and just help me out? And I was like, Grandma, that's murder. She's like, but what about if I want to die? I was like, still going to jail. Yeah,
but also... There's people who can do that for you. You know, you don't have to be.
Yeah, like at the hospital with morphine.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be you. Just wash your hands of that.
She's just really dramatic. She just wants to go out really dramatically. The movie you've chosen today.
Yes.
I really freaking enjoyed it.
It's great.
It is, isn't it?
It's the best.
Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, I can. So this isn't, because I know most people talk about the first movie they remember watching.
I actually changed my criterion.
You did, and so I was able to pick this movie.
Yeah, because I was like, I just want to talk about horror movies that people really like.
Yes.
Because then, you know, you can have a really cool conversation about something that they really enjoyed.
Yeah, so look, if we were doing my first scary movie, it would be Gremlins. So I'm glad we're doing this instead.
Oh, that's so cool, though.
Yeah, well, it's that ride. So there was the Gremlins ride at Movie World as well, like the theme park. That ride was terrifying.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, just no good.
When was that?
That was, it was like, I was like 10 and I'm 29 now, so it was a while ago. Yeah. I think it's where Scooby-Doo is now. That used to be a Gremlin ride.
I love Scooby-Doo, though.
Yeah, so, well, it used to be like a drive-through, like Beetlejuice was there for some reason as well. It was not a ride that made a lot of sense, but it terrified me as a child. But no, this movie is not Gremlins or Beetlejuice.
Yes,
it
or
is
Beetlejuice.
Ready or Not, a film from last year that I picked because I picked it because I enjoyed it, I loved it. But I think for me, these kinds of horror movies are my favorite kinds of horror movies. Like absurdly fun horror movies. Like,
yeah,
you know, we were talking about Midsommar, and I did enjoy Midsommar, but like, oh man, that's 2 hours of it's hard. You know, you're tired at the end.
People getting filleted.
Yeah, it's a long drawn out process. Whereas Ready or Not is fun, and I like horror and comedy are like best mates. So, you know, stuff like Evil Dead's really great, Scream's great. Yeah. Even, you know, the nightmare films where Freddy's killing people as like a giant worm. They're fun because they're part of that like absurd horror world. So Ready or Not slots straight into that, and it's got Australian in it, Samara Weaving, and she's a fucking jet.
She's just fantastic, and I really enjoy her because I recently watched The Babysitter 1 and 2 like back to back. And she was just so cool in that movie. She was really cool.
I love The Babysitter. I haven't seen the second one, but I deeply loved the first one. It's just, again, it's the same thing. It's a fun horror film. So there's still stakes, and there's someone in peril, and you're still worrying about them, but they lean into the absurdity of it. I think that's the cool thing about horror that I like. Maybe that's the love part of it, is that It's one of the only genres of like film or books or games or whatever where something really ridiculous can happen, and it's okay because that's you just are buying in because you're watching a horror. So yeah, that man has a squid for a face. That's just part of it. That's just go with it. This is how this story goes. Yeah.
Just accept it.
And in this case, hide and seek is a violent game.
Yeah, where it's just like, oh no, that should be a nice game, shouldn't it?
Yeah, no, this movie's great.
The really cool thing is that the directors on this film, Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, they did a film that I really liked, VHS. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have not seen VHS.
It's pretty good. I haven't seen the follow-up.
That checks. I get it. It's
the same. And it's really cool. I haven't seen it in forever, but I think you might enjoy it.
All right, I'll try to convince the Scaredy Boys to watch it, maybe. Because if I'm like, because we all enjoyed Ready or Not, because we saw it together. So I might be like, it's the guys who did Ready or Not. That was fun. So maybe I'll trick them into watching this.
It's not a fun movie, but and the team that wrote it, so Guy Busick and Christopher Murphy did Castle Rock together. I don't know if you watched that.
Yes, no, I did. I watched the first season. I haven't watched the second season, but I did watch the first season.
There's a second season?
Yeah, there's a second season of it.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's... Well, I don't think it's about the same people. I think it's just set in the town again. A bit like an anthology kind of Fargo type series, I think. But there is a second season, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I haven't seen
I'm going to have to watch it because my grandma and I watched the first season together and she was like, well, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? And I was just like, haven't you read any Stephen King?
Oh, I tell you what, he like, the man did heaps of cocaine. What do you expect? Like,
yeah, that's what I said. I was like, the dude had a drug addiction, like,
among
as if
other
he was going to write
things,
something ridiculous.
Like, there's a lot going on in Kingy's life.
Yeah, along with a lot of other things. So the film stars Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, who my teen crush, like my entire teenage years revolved around Seth Cohen.
Right. He's really good in this too, by the way.
He's great.
I'm of the belief that Adam Brody is at his most powerful when he's kind of playing a dick. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about, like, so Seth Cohen's probably not really a dick, but, like, the three best Brody performances are this, he's great in this, he's really good in Jennifer's Body, where he's a dick in that.
Yeah.
And he's really good in a movie called Thank You for Smoking, where he's just, like, a really weird producer's assistant who's just, like, a bit insane. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in so many horror movies.
He does a lot of it, hey.
He did Scream 4. He's not Jennifer's Body.
He's not a dick in Scream 4, though. He's one of the cops, isn't he?
He's just a regular dude. And he was in The Ring for about 5 seconds.
Oh, is he, like, just... He would have been young in The Ring, right?
Yeah. So he's, like, not that much older than us.
Huh.
And... Oh, no, maybe he's, like... I think he's, like, 43 or something. That, to me, is not that much older than me.
No.
He, you know the funeral scene where, Rachel's niece's, wake is happening and she goes out the back to have a cigarette and she's talking to those teenagers?
Yep.
He's one of the teenagers.
Okay. I was like, does he die horrifically because he watches...
No.
Hey, do you want to know a fun fact about me and The Ring?
Yes.
So, I like horror movies with rules because then I can be like, right, I know the rules of this horror movie, so if I was ever in that scenario, I'd just follow the rules. I'd be fine. And The Ring... Just don't watch the videotape. It's so simple and so easy. So when I'm watching The Ring, you know there's that sequence in it where they show you what's on the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch that. I close my eyes. Because just in case. So if Well Girl is watching, she knows I didn't look, so I don't know. So you can't get me in 7 days because I never saw it.
But the rules of it is that you're meant to reproduce the tape and give it to somebody.
Yeah, but only if you've watched it, which I haven't. I've never watched the footage of what's on the tape because that part of the movie, close my eyes. Can't get me.
I love that. Can't get me, Samara.
She set out the rules very clearly, and anyway, back to this, Samara. Sorry, I reckon I've talked about 8 movies that aren't the movie we're supposed to be talking about.
This is what the podcast is about. Things we like about horror while talking about a movie.
Yeah,
it's all good. My fun fact about The Ring is I still don't understand what happened. Like, I still don't get it, but
the TV kills you.
I've watched it about 20 times. I still don't get it.
Look, I think the best version of The Ring is Scary Movie 3, right? That's the best one. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, everyone I talk to is always like, yeah, Scary Movie. I was like, thank God. Like, I love those movies so freaking much.
Well, they were my, like, entry point in horror as sort of a teen, because I didn't watch a lot of it, because I didn't like being scared. So now I'm watching movies, and I'm like, So the first time I watched Scream, I was like, okay. This is a scary movie.
Oh, this bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
See, I watched Scary Movie before I watched Scream. And so I thought the ending was ruined for me, so I was like, I don't need to watch Scream. And then I watched Scream and I was like, the ending isn't ruined.
No, it's not what they do in Scary Movie. I'm pretty sure a weird fact about Scream as well is that the working title was Scary Movie.
Yeah, and that's why I think they named...
so they're clever. Okay.
They got it.
I do have a fun fact about this movie, though, which is my favourite
Yeah, what
fact,
is it? Please tell me.
The mansion that they live in, that the whole movie is set in, is the mansion from Billy Madison.
Bullshit!
No, yeah, it is. I learnt that from Scaredy Boys. It's just, yeah.
That's so cool!
The only, like, when the penny dropped when someone was like, guess what, like, famous comedy that this is from? We're trying to work it out. And the scene outside with the pool, I'm like, that's where they have all the pool parties.
Oh.
It's the Billy Madison mansion. So yeah, a lot of the exterior... I don't know if the interior shots are, but a lot of the exterior shots are the Billy Madison mansion.
Wow.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
There you go.
I love that. So this had a really small budget for horror movies. Now, I'm not too sure who the production team was behind this. But they had a budget of $6 million.
Ooh, that's pretty tight.
Yeah, but it made $57.6 million at the box office.
So it's done very well.
It did pretty damn well.
I figure because it's how much. My question is, without going too much into it, how much of the budget do we think is the final 5 minutes? Like, how much of the budget is just that sequence?
Well, I read somewhere that they didn't have enough candelabras. They only had like 6. And so they'd have to take them around the set with them.
Oh, that's great.
And like set them up.
Oh, because that's right. They turn all the lights off and they're using candlelight for the... Yeah. Oh, that's a good fact. That's good.
And so they'd have to move like the candelabras from one set into like another one. Because they didn't have enough to set them up everywhere.
That's good. No, that's I like that a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. I was like,
that's how you
excellent.
save money, so you can spend all your budget on a pretty cool sequence at the end of a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And so at the start of the movie,
yes.
I was like, I don't know where to start.
Start at the start. It's the best place. Just dive in. Now go to the middle. Just pick a random sequence in the middle.
This one.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I can't even remember how the movie opens.
It's the flashback. It's the Aunt Helene's husband.
Charles.
Yeah. And Adam Brody and Alex. The actor's completely gone out of my brain. The brothers are children.
Mark O'Brien.
There we go. Oh, I'll tell you who else is in this movie. Andy McDowell.
Yes!
Very good in this
Honourable
movie.
mention.
Does a very good job. And Henry, not even going to try to say his surname.
Oh, is that the father?
Yes, the dad. Yeah.
Oh, see, he didn't get a mention on Wikipedia when I was getting my cast out.
Oh, man, that's Henry. He's such a...
What a burn.
Man, that hurts, poor bloke.
Poor guy. Oh, I just smacked my knee.
Oh, that's no good.
Excuse me. So, I really like this because, you see the relationship between Daniel and, what's his face?
Alex.
Alex. What's his face? And, the family's all running around like mad people, capturing Charles.
You just get thrown straight in and you just like,
yeah.
Wait, why are they wearing masks? What is this? Okay.
Why are you shooting him? Why is he shot?
One, why is he shot? 2, why is he now shot again? But no, you do set up that really nice thing. This movie doesn't have, like, again, 90 minutes, I think, off the top of my head. Like, it's a tight 90. And they don't waste a lot of space. So, like, they give you, this is everything you need to know about these brothers' relationship. You'll see them again later. And this is everything you need to know about this woman. You'll meet her again later. And then even once you finish the flashback and you get that first sequence of Samara weaving, you have, I feel like, for this movie, you have about 10 to 15 seconds to fall in love with her so that you care what happens to her. And she just nails it. Like, she just...
absolutely.
By the end of that, by the time she's lit the cigarette and she's smoking in the mirror, you're like, no, I'm on board. I don't want you to die. Let's go.
Yeah, you will be the final girl. Let's do this.
Yeah, you buy in completely. And that's... It means that because you buy in completely with her, I feel, it means that then you buy into the, oh yeah, hide and seek. Yeah, cool. Yep, this is insane.
Yeah, you're all insane. Yeah. Protect Samara Weaving at all costs. And so Samara actually plays a woman named Grace. And her and Alex, this is 30 years later after the event of Uncle Charles being shot with a crossbow.
The best crossbow. A crossbow, that's a bit of foreshadowing of the crossbow's ability to kill.
Or non-ability.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, it's not like, there's not a lot of, like, jump scares, but there's a lot of gore at some of these deaths are just...
I love it.
And there's a sequence that we'll get to in the movie that it kills me every time I watch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm intrigued now.
Yeah. It's a bit later on. It's well into the film.
I was like, I could think of a few that I'm just like, ooh, oh.
Nah, there's just one that's like, oh, no good. No, not that place.
So they have a little conversation and he, tells her, you can leave. Like, I'm giving you an out.
Well, yeah,
and,
but
obviously...
it's the brother that actually suggests that. It's
yes.
Brody's like, she can leave as a joke, and then he seems to actually think it through and be like, oh,
and he's like, no, wait a sec.
Maybe she could leave. And it's like, kind of say, he's before later in the film, but he sucks early on too, man. Don't lie. Just tell her about you're a selfish shithead.
You're a piece of shit.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's also good though because you get that nice beat of she's like, no, she's charming and funny and great, and he's worried about something, but you just assume he's worried about his super rich family accepting this girl who's not super rich, and you learn like a couple of scenes later that she grew up in foster systems and things like that. So it's all very believable, and the family are kind of charming for a little bit in the wedding, except for the aunt who's nuts.
Just
with that
bug right in front of me. Like, get out, piece of shit. It kept flying really close to me. Oh my god! I thought I got him.
Oh, he's gone.
Got it. Yeah,
he's dead.
Got him. The aunt is just really foreboding. Like, her presence.
Her whole, her face looks like a skull as well. It's just horrific. But I guess, you just assume it's because she doesn't approve of, marrying outside the family. You get that great scene with Andy McDowell and Samara Weaving, Grace and Rebecca, the mum.
Yeah, Becky.
Where she's like, do you smoke? It's like, no, but, I like your cigarette case. And they kind of bond because she's like, I was the outsider once. I'm glad you brought my son home. Again, they do such a good job at feeding you information. It never feels like exposition. Like, it never feels like they're giving you... So you get, the connection between, like, the brothers, the Samara Weaving and Mark O'Brien have only been together for, like, a small amount of time. I think it's, like, 18 months. So it's a kind of a quick little wedding. It's a bit risky. And then you get, like, the Andy McDowell sort of thing about, oh, thank you for bringing our son home. So you're like, right, so he fucked off on the family. Now he's come back. And all of that happens.
And his brother's an alcoholic.
Yeah. Big alcoholic. With eyeliner? Who's to say?
I think he just has permanent eyeliner.
He's a good-looking man. I will say that.
This is why. Seth Cohen forever. Ryan who? Am I right?
I never watched The OC. It was just
Oh, it's coming to Netflix. I think. Wait, no, that's Dawson's Creek. I take that back. I think it's on Stan. I got really excited because I was reading all new horror movies coming to Netflix, and I was looking through just like a general Netflix thing trying to find them,
Yeah.
and it was like, series coming, Dawson's Creek, and I just lost my mind.
I've also never watched Dawson's Creek.
Don't. It's fine.
I probably won't. You know what?
Yeah,
I won't. I wasn't going to, and you've told me definitely not to. So I. But yeah, you get that excellent kind of. You learn everything you need to know very quickly, which is great.
Yeah, and I really like this super awkward family photo shoot before the actual ceremony, which was really odd, but totally fit into everything that was happening anyway.
Yep.
I just thought it was weird that that was first.
Well, no, it's so, but
that's
it's
just me
we learn
personally.
stuff. Like you learn that Adam Brody and his wife aren't super close.
No, Charity.
Charity.
His wife is Charity.
The most ironic name.
She only married him for his money. She admits that. I was like, oh.
Like, yeah, and you get that dichotomy of them. You get that the dad's kind of like, I'm glad you're home. Like, he's got a favorite. This is his favorite. It's everyone's favorite son's come back. And then you get the throwaway line of, where's your sister? It's probably
Emily.
So you establish early on that they are the fuck ups of the sister's one of the fuck ups of the family, and you haven't even met her yet, and her husband, who they're both so good. When you meet them,
I love both of them so much.
They're just fantastic. Just
Emily and Fetch.
Oh, they're both so inept in just different ways. And he's just like, this is insane. It's good. It's good.
Can
Anyway.
you leave? Yeah. And so, there's like a quick little wedding ceremony, and it cuts straight to that night.
Yep.
And so Grace and Alex are trying to get it on, and
spooky
the aunt just fucking stands in the room.
Mate, nothing kills libido faster than the ghastly skulled aunt appearing in a hidden passageway into the bedroom.
Nothing kills it more than people with no boundaries.
No, correct.
No, what's personal space?
But he's also trying to tell her what's about to happen, and then he's like, "Oh, we're just gonna play a board game. That's all. You know, my family's a board game empire. On our wedding night, that's why we come here. You've just got to play a game. It's an old superstition tradition of the family. It's fine. Don't worry." And she's like, "Yep, cool. I'll play checkers." And you're just like, there's something playing on his mind, and at that point, I'm watching it even the first time. At that point, I'm like, "Nah, you're a bit of a dog, Alex," because at that point you could say, FYI, one of those cards might kill you.
Yeah, you might end up dead.
Because that's the other thing I like, is that it's open to chance. You could play any kind of game, whether it's checkers or chess or snap or whatever. But if you get hide and seek, that results in death. Yeah.
And that's like when they go downstairs and the family are all like talking about what cards they drew when it was their turn.
Yep. And over the whole thing is that whole dread of the dad saying to the son, you know, if she pulls that card, are you prepared what you have to do? And he just walks away, and you're like, what are they talking about? And Adam Brody's kind of looking at everything kind of, he seems really anxious for his brother, and the worst part of it is you're watching it and you've seen the flashback, so you kind of know what to expect.
Yeah.
You now see them preparing this ceremony, and Samara Weaving is just like, do, 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 do. And you're like, go run, get out of the house.
You sweet angel, get out of there.
Go back to Australia, run.
We'll protect you here.
Go back to Home and Away, or Neighbours, or whichever one of those two shows you were from.
Whichever one it was.
Because it's one of them. I just know.
Is there any others?
No, I think genuinely she is from one of them, but I don't know which one. She's from the one that Margot Robbie isn't. So.
Oh, then she's from Home and Away.
There you go, Home and Away. So
Margot Robbie was Neighbours.
There you go. See, I mean, this is good. Solved it. Done.
And so, this is where Grace meets Emily, who's a massive cokehead.
Oh, that.
And she's got like all coke powder around her nose, and I'm just like, oh, perfect.
But again, it shows that like Grace is a cool person that you want to be friends with, because she's meeting this sister for the first time, and she's like, just, you know, you've got something on your nose, like not. It's a nice scene, and it sets up that it's like, is this family actually kind of friendly? Like, Fitch seems like an adorable weirdo, and they're rich. That's the only thing. Like, he has that throwaway line about how they couldn't get, I just can't fly commercial anymore. It's like, all right, so you're rich. All right, so you're weird because you're rich. sick. I love that some of my favorite movies, probably if I'd like pick like a top 5 of last year, 3 of my favorite films of last year, the plot was rich people suck. So we had
excellent.
Ready or Not, Knives Out, and Parasite, of which all 3 films, the crux is rich people are shit. And I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I can get behind that a lot.
As a person on medium salary, below average salary, I 100% get behind that.
Yeah, eat the rich. Let's go.
And I'm really hungry, so that'd work.
Play hide and seek with them, but for keeps.
But for keeps.
Forever.
So, unfortunately, when they sit around and they're, she's choosing her card, Tony is explaining how they had this special box, and that's where the card comes from, and it's from this dude named Mr. LaBelle, and basically he's the reason they're as rich as what they are, and they have him to thank for their fortune.
Yep. He's portrayed as a wealthy benefactor meeting on like a cruise ship, so he just seems like a dude.
He's just some dude.
He's just some guy,
Just some guy.
Definitely not Satan.
Definitely not.
Don't reckon he's just a fella.
He's just some fell. Grace draws the hide and seek card, and it's just really like, what's going to happen?
It's that there's moments in like horror films where like your heart drops a little. So she's oblivious because she doesn't know what's happening. We've had the flashback, we kind of know it, but we're also reading the room, and everyone, like, Alex looks like sick. Andie MacDowell looks like she's about to cry. Adam Brody just goes to pieces. Everyone gets really tense and awkward, and it's like something's about to happen, and she's just oblivious to it all because she's like, I just got married. This family's rich and weird and eccentric. Whatever, who cares?
Let's play hide and seek.
Let's play hide and seek. It's the bit in Scream where what's her name's on the phone, and he's like, what's your name? And she's like, why? He's like, I want to know who I'm looking at. And everything just goes, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought, oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. It also
I was just like,
this scene just before it too, where Andie MacDowell's talking in the one of the rooms to her about, I know you're foster, blah blah blah. You like me, you're an outsider. It's okay. It sets up the theme that's really nicely, which is about the importance of family and the cost of family.
Yeah.
And so you have Grace, who's a character who's never had a family. Her family aren't at the wedding. That's all she desperately wants. Is the reason she's happy to get married really quickly and accept these crazy eccentric people for what they are, is because she's blindsided because she wants a family so bad. And the flip side of that is the family want to be a family as well by getting Alex back. You've got Adam Brody who's like, do I put the family or my brother first? It's just, there's a lot of great theming around family connections and what you do for family just set up immediately in that first 10-15 minutes. It's good.
Yeah, and it's a really heartwarming conversation that the mother has with Grace, and it's just like, oh, that's so lovely, she's saying you're a part of our family now, and
you're in.
Then
you just got to play this game.
Your dread is still like, ugh.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's juxtaposed. Like, you have literally, they have that nice conversation, and the sister's really great to meet her, and everyone's really happy to meet her, and then she pulls that card, and the look of everyone in the room just pivots, and it's like, no, you're not going to get the thing that you want. You can't anymore. These people are not your family. They don't care about you.
Oh, so sad. And so she's so excited to play hide and seek, though. And, Tony's saying to her, you just have to stay hidden until dawn to win. Yep. And, Grace doesn't really want to do that. She was like, oh, I don't want to do that.
It's just, he plays it so well too, but just that whole sequence where she's then hiding in the dumbwaiter and she's just like, okay, that's enough. And you're like, no, it's not enough.
No,
stay in there forever. Don't ever come out of the dumbwaiter.
Just live in there.
Live in there forever. But of course, but again, what we were talking about before, I was saying that, you buy into a horror movie quickly because it's a horror. But with this, she doesn't believe it, because why the fuck would you think that something what no one thinks when you play a game of hide and seek with a bunch of people that they're going to try to murder you. That's not That's not a thing on anyone's agenda. So, of course you're not going to hide forever. Of course you're not going to believe that this is part of some family ritual for them. Like, of course you're not going to believe that. Why would you? The fact that all the characters are constantly addressing how absurd everything is makes the whole thing work, because they're literally the audience being like, oh, this is absurd. And then one of the characters is like, this is ridiculous. You're like, yeah, this is I'm in. I'm on board.
You all think it's insane. I'm in.
Yeah, you're like us.
Yeah, I really like this scene because they grab out a vinyl and put it on the record player, and it's just this really cool, like, 1940s style song that's part of their countdown to start finding her.
Yeah.
And they're equipping themselves with all of these really old weapons and guns and crossbows, and Aunt Helene has a fucking axe.
Oh. She loves that axe.
Oh, she just looks really gaunt, and she's like so tiny as well with this like massive axe.
She's the worst. She's not the worst actually, because she sucks from the outset.
Yeah, she didn't even pretend to like not be the worst.
You know what you're getting with Aunt Helene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like
she shows her cards.
Early on, they keep sprinkling through that. Grace is good. Grace is good. She doesn't deserve to be part of this family. She's actually a good person. Like, she's better than all of us. We're all shit. So you get that kind of, like, she's an outsider on so many levels, and then she's literally, won out against an entire family who are kidding up to come and find and kill her.
Yeah. And this is where the fun really starts.
Oh yeah.
For me.
Oh yeah. This is where the movie hits the accelerator, and all of the funny, good, absurd stuff starts happening.
Yeah. There's a few scenes in just this, 5 minutes that I just lost my mind. Because Alex has decided he doesn't want to join in the family with their hide and seek game. So, he sits in a room, and Charity has been told to watch the door.
Yeah.
And we before saw Aunt Helene use the servants' corridors. And so Alex ducks out to go and find Grace and give her a hand. And I love this because, he grabs her and he's like, come in here, and they duck down behind a bed.
Yeah. And they do a clever... I will give this, the filmmakers are very clever here, because, again, you could have a boring bit where he's like, my family, they're going to try to kill you, and that would seem impossible, because naturally Grace is going to be like, shut up, you idiot. The best way to do it is show the family trying to kill her. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Because Clara, the nanny, who everybody loves, that she's their favourite, has lost one of the children. So she's gone to look for him. And we
get an excellent
I just love this. Yeah, because we hear a gunshot ring out and a thud on the ground because, before that, they hear her approaching and she's actually in the room with them. And just before she finds them, she is shot in the face.
Yeah, by Emily, who thinks she shot Samara Weaving, and then literally is like, I got her, I shot her, I got her, and then she walks in and you just hear it then focuses on Samara Weaving's face as she's hearing all this information with the audience, and you just get that great line from Adam Brody, does it look like she's wearing a white dress?
Yeah.
And again, so clever in the way they give you information. You get that throwaway line, so already they show and they don't tell, that great, thing of cinema where they show what's happening, so then they show Samara Weaving's reaction to it. They show Alex watching her react to it, being like, right, she understands what's at stake now. And then you get little throwaway lines where the dad's like, no, don't shoot her why are you aiming for the head anyway? She has to be alive. You're supposed to maim her.
Why? Yeah.
So you get another layer of information just given to you, and it just doesn't feel heavy-handed. They just do it so well. These guys are good.
It's just so light. And here you go. Here's some fun.
And meanwhile, it's fun. Just her being like, oh, this always happens to me, and what?
And then just has another bump of Coke and off she goes.
Does a little pep talk in the mirror, like, you got this, you got this. Woo! Just, fantastic. And then they have they decide, right, we've got to split up. She could be anywhere now. you two get rid of the body. Oh, this is terrible. She was one of my favorites. And it's just like, what are you doing? Oh, and then
what is going on?
Just immediately you get the dime flip of then they escape the room, and it's that whole like, all right, you know, these are the stakes, and you're like, oh, that's
this
right,
is
fuck, this is serious. We don't want Samara to die.
And I just love that they're yelling at each other, and Fetch is on the toilet watching a how to use a crossbow video.
Oh, it's just fantastic. He has that great moment earlier too where he's walking with the mum and he's like, why do we get these old weapons? And she just turns to him and goes, you know I've never liked you. And he's just like, oh, okay. Great.
I can use the toilet.
He spends a lot of the movie just on the toilet watching YouTube clips.
New YouTube videos.
Yeah, how to use your crossbow.
Yeah, and it's like 2 American hunters. And it's like, that crossbow wouldn't even be the same.
No, he also gets that great throwaway like bit of, this is later in the movie when he's in the bathroom again and he's getting texts from his mates and he's like, bro, just hanging out with the boring family. It's like, you're murdering a woman.
Shit.
Oh.
He's a crack up. He's probably one of my favourite characters in the movie.
Him and Emily have just some of the best bits.
Well, every horror movie has to have the comedic relief.
Yeah.
And Adam Brody's character is very satirical and very just cynical and whatnot. But these two are just airheads. Like,
well, yeah, they just don't. Like, Emily's incompetent and Fitch is just a rich idiot. Like, it's just, both are. I guess that's the thing, is the comic relief of it is that the whole thing is absurd, even though there are, like, real stakes and real violence and all this kind of stuff, is that because it's ridiculous, it's fun. And all of the characters are fun and funny in their own weird ways. But yeah, the whole sequence where they're, like, chasing after her and then because they go into the crawl space and then Alex explains, you've got to get out, I'm going to help you, but you need to leave. And I like this bit as well, because again, when she's like, why didn't you tell me? He doesn't say, I didn't want to tell you because it's frightening or bad or blah, blah. He says, because you'd leave. So already they're just sprinkling in the seed that he makes selfish choices. And that's all you need to know. You just need that scene so that when he does some shitty things later, it's not out of the box. The seeds are already there. Again, they're very clever people.
Yeah, it's really, the scripting and the writing all together are just really cleverly done. And this is and all horror movies, you know, have this general trope of, you know, things that are used and conceptualized into their movies to, you know, make it relatable to everybody. Yeah. But this is just a theme and a trope I've never seen. Ever. And it was just so good.
Well, it's great, but you, again, it's all because you decide that you like Grace. So once you like Grace, you can go along with anything. And again, everyone's always met like weird family members. Everyone's got weird family members. Like everyone has. You go to Christmas lunch. There's always one, and you're like, you're gonna try and sell me some crystals again, aren't you, Auntie?
Oh God.
You know, there's always...
I'm the weirdo in my family. Not selling crystals.
Okay.
But I'm guessing because I haven't noticed any other weirdos in my family at Christmas,
Kat,
it's probably me.
It's...
That's fine. I'm just the weird 30-year-old emo still. And people are like, wasn't that a phase? No. Me being normal was a phase.
Yeah, don't run in my black parade. It's still going. It will never stop.
Yeah. It's never stopping.
But yeah, you very quickly then get that sort of exposition, but then you get probably some of the best parts, one of the best sequences in the whole film, which is where they split up. Alex goes off to fix the cameras, and Grace is trying to escape.
Yeah, because the house is locked down. They've like locked everything in the house, so nobody can get out.
He gives her instructions, but she fucks it up because she's panicking. Of course she does. And she ends up in a room.
She doesn't know where she is.
No, exactly. She's in a big it's the Billy Madison mansion. It's huge.
Only Billy Madison knows his way around that place.
You know, exactly. And then she has that great scene where she runs into Adam Brody, and he just is like, I just came to get a drink. I'm not here to kill you, but I do have to tell them where you are. So I'm going to give you a head start. Like, again, once again, they're sowing seeds that Adam Brody doesn't like his family and doesn't like the things that they have to do, but it's family, so he's going to do it. And it makes sense for what he does later on. His character is really good because every time he appears, you're not sure if he's going to help or hinder Grace's escape. And so he helps. You're just
like, okay, what are you doing this time?
Oh, yeah, right. It's good. And then of course you get the fantastic scenes where the rest of the family get there, and Emily's realized she's lost her gun somewhere. Oh no, yeah, because she drops it when they see her, because they're like, where is she? She could be anywhere by now. And she walks out of a room behind them.
And then because they're all so incompetent, couldn't catch her.
No, well, because again, they don't have to do this all year round. They're just people. They're not. That's what I like as well. The killers aren't like killers. Like, it's not like Freddy's coming after you. These are just bumbling rich idiots people who don't have to do this a lot. The only person who's good at it is Aunt Helene, because she fucking loves it.
Yeah, she loves that shit. She's been waiting for the day.
Oh, man. But yeah, Emily gets given the crossbow to use because she's lost her gun and she's all shaken up about it and she just wants to help and then shoots the other maid through the throat.
But in this scene, just before this happens, Fetch finds out that Clara's dead and he's like, oh, she was my favourite. I think someone else says it, like, further down the track. I think the butler says it. And it's just like, oh, God.
It's just phenomenal. And then, yeah, she shoots her in the throat with a crossbow.
Oh, God.
And it's just fantastic. So good. Like, and again, in this scene, too, you get, like, great stuff where, like, you show the tension between Brody and Charity, Daniel and Charity.
Yeah.
They don't like one another. She's like, you could have, like, done more. And he's like, yeah, she's gone. Sorry. Whoops. I don't care. Like, who cares? And yeah, it's just... Because at this point, too, they don't necessarily believe that's what's going to happen. Like, the kids don't. Like, the adults... Yeah. Like, when I say kids, they're all adults. But the mum and the dad and the aunt, they believe that something bad will happen if they don't do this. But the rest of the family doesn't 100% know for sure if... But
they're like, we'll do it because they might cut us off from the money if we don't join in.
Yeah, it's because your family's asking you to do something. When your family asks you to do it, you kill that blonde girl.
You kill the new bride.
Oh, it's yeah. But yeah, the you get the arrow through the throat, and then the scene where Aunt Helene is trying to make a big dramatic speech, and you just hear her gurgling to death slowly off screen, and then she goes over and chops her head off with an axe.
And she's just so frustrated that she keeps getting interrupted.
Oh, it's just outstanding. And then I think Emily gets taken away by Fitch to find an edible.
Yeah, he's like, let's get you an edible to calm down. Or maybe it'll even you out or something.
Because you see her earlier on too, she's just smashing pills in a room by herself. Oh, man.
Oh, God.
That's what I mean. Like,
she's a wreck.
They're relatable as well because they're not good at doing this.
Everyone sucks.
It's wild. It's so great. Yeah.
And I love this, there's a transformation scene after this where, like, Grace is equipping herself with this gun and this ammunition belt, and she's making her way to I think it's the servant's kitchen or something.
Yeah. She's torn her dress too. She's ripped off the bottom of the dress to be more like...
She's got Converses on.
Yep. We're like, she's competent. She's ready to go. Not quite.
She's gonna kick some ass.
Yeah. Well...
I read somewhere that they did 17 versions of Grace's wedding dress to show the progress of her night and how her dress, like, changed with what was happening to her.
Oh, that dress goes through the ringer, too.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful dress, too. Just...
It's really nice.
If I was going to wear a wedding dress, this is probably the one I'd wear.
Oh. Yeah. Nice choice.
That's a nice dress.
You have great taste.
Yeah, I'd wear it with the cons, just in case my in-laws then tried to kill me. I'm ready to go. Can't
and also heels are a bitch to walk in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll roll an ankle. We don't want that.
Not in these arches.
It's your day.
Exactly.
So when she gets to the kitchen, Stevens, the butler, who I really like his character because he's just an idiot.
He's the worst too.
Yeah.
He's that, again, it's that...
He really is.
He's just a bad dude who's, like, sucking up to this rich family who don't care about him. They're just rich.
Nobody gives a shit.
They don't give a shit.
You.
Oh, it's...
You're the help.
Yeah, exactly.
I say that like I know what the help is.
We've all got the help.
The help.
They live in the servant's kitchen or whatever.
They live in my garage.
Yeah. But yeah, you get
That's
that nice sequence of Alex trying to free her by unlocking the doors.
Yeah.
And she fights back because the gun doesn't work, because the bullets are ornamental, because of course they are. But again, they do a really good thing of showing you that gun with those bullets, and then when she sees them later, you're like, yeah, get those bullets. And then they don't work, and you're like, fuck.
Oh. Get rid of those bullets. Get some real ones.
That's a tense scene too, where she's slowly trying to load it without it making a noise, and he's singing opera.
I think he's singing the 1812 Overture.
Which is what he plays in the car later. Of course.
Maybe it's different. Oh no, because the Overture has different parts. Yes, ex-classical musician.
Okay. Yeah, because it's that... Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is singing that, yeah.
Yeah, and I just love when the gun fails, she just grabs that really boiling hot pot of tea and smashes it on his face. And later on, everyone is just so grossed out by his face.
Oh, yeah. It's just... it's fantastic, because then... See, this whole sequence then leads up to one of my favourite lines in the movie. So she's then fleeing the kitchen because that escape route's gone. Adam and Daniel have that confrontation in the control room with the father, and he gets knocked out, and they decide to handcuff him to the bed so he can't interfere anymore. And then when they reconvene to like talk about their plan of attack, in the meantime, Grace has tried to get back in the dumbwaiter and found the third maid in there, who's like, I'm not really a maid. Tony just thinks I'm pretty, and it's like, I know, Tony just likes the way I dance. And it's like, oh, fuck. And she's like, yeah, these people are bad. Like, these people suck. And then she's like, but they're looking for me. They're not looking for you. And then the maid's like, she's over here, and gets accidentally crushed in the dumbwaiter.
Oh.
And it's horrific.
The bit that you was talking about earlier?
Oh, no, that bit's still coming.
Oh, this isn't it?
No.
Oh, that's still to come. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that death's pretty gross, but it leads to the funniest moment in the film where Tony, the dad, runs up and they see that she's been crushed in the dumbwaiter. No, Steven sees her and reports to the family, I'm afraid so-and-so's been killed in the dumbwaiter. And Tony's like, oh, what is she doing? She's killing herself one by one. And she is yet to kill a single person.
Yeah, they've all killed them.
The two maids both got killed by Emily, and then the third one's been she's picking us off one by one. How is she doing this? So she's not picking anybody off.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, she hasn't done anything. No.
Oh, it's so good. But again, it just shows that, like, and it reinforces that these families just suck. Like, because they don't even realize they're bad. They're doing the wrong thing. Like, no, this is just what we have to do. You know,
it's tradition.
We're better than everybody else. You know, I think he even says, "Who is she?" Like,
yeah,
you know, we're rich and she's this poor. Like, how is she killed? And him being horrified that she might have killed someone when they are, like, actively trying to kill her. Oh, it's
the
good.
audacity.
Oh, how dare they?
I always lose my spot. I should start numbering my points.
Just little tabs.
So,
I know you can't tab things on a computer screen. Don't worry. Like, I was thinking, like, you know when you have, like, paper and you get those little sticky tab notes? Can't do that on the laptop. That's dumb. Tom, shut up.
So, this is the point where Alex, he's already unlocked the house, so she can get out if she can make her way out.
Yes.
And Alex is handcuffed in the room, and Helene and Tony are speaking, and Helene's saying, you know, he'll come back to the family and accept his place, and the same way she did when Charles was killed.
Yep.
And she says, you know, I only wish I'd, you know, shot him myself.
Yep.
Which was her husband.
Yep.
And, you know, Alex is sitting there like, yeah, whatever.
But you get some nice bits of information. So you get...
Yeah.
The whole thing about how, like, something bad will happen and they're pretty sure that it's real. You get... They're going to use the cameras because, you know, we should be able to use it. Like, we should be able to do this kind of stuff. And then you get that great bit of information where Aunt Helene's like, Alex is the same as me. Like, we both believe it. And he's the only member of the family to have allegedly seen Mr. LaBelle in his chair, which is an empty
Yes, that's
armchair.
right. Yeah.
And Tony's like, no, he's a kid, he lied. But you get that bit of information, and Grace is outside the window sneaking out, so she hears that information as well. So you get like these lovely bits of just family arguments that just show you like all the different things that are happening. It's very good.
Yeah, I really like that scene because it did give a lot more information, and you're just like, is this a turning point or not?
Well, yeah,
for Alex's character.
It's where she realizes that this is deeper than she realizes, and she's just got to get the fuck out of here, you know?
Yeah, because it's where she friggin' jumps off the roof.
Yep.
Outside a window where Fetch is messaging his mates like, oh, his mate's like, oh, what are you up to? And he's like, bro, just some family shit.
And just like doing that while he's just like, again, just so good. Just all the dumb little shit that they do in this movie is so fantastic. And then
he doesn't really do much after that, I don't think.
No, he really doesn't. He loses his privileges to have a weapon, I think.
Yes, I think him and Emily lose theirs.
Adam Brody, Daniel and Emily get their weapon privileges revoked.
Yeah. But this scene I really love when she goes into the stable and Georgie, Emily and Fetch's son's in there.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, you can help me, you're a kid.
Yeah, you're not part of this. He
just
shoots her in the fucking hand.
And she fucking punches him right in the face.
See what I mean? The whole movie's just so absurd. It's such a good punch too, because he just goes down like a sack of shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Out cold, Austin Cold, whatever. I don't know anything about
Steve
wrestling.
Austin. It's a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah.
Man, give it the WWE, mate. That's old school.
I wasn't allowed to watch it as a kid because my mum thought it was too violent.
And yet you've turned into a person who hosts a horror podcast.
Yeah.
That worked.
Good one, Mum. I love violence more than anything now. That's what happens when you starve someone of something.
That's it. She deprived it of you. Whereas if she fed you WWE, you would be like, oh.
Maybe I'd be normal.
Yeah, you like pratfalls and fake elbows, not actual violence. So, you know.
Yeah.
This is the scene, by the way, that upsets me the most in this whole movie.
Oh, okay. I get you. Because it upset the crap out of me.
So bad.
Please explain the scene.
So it's where she's been shot in the hand and she falls into the stable, into this, basically, again, another great little bit of exposition where you learn more information about this family. She trips and falls into this pit, which is full of dead goats.
Pit. Yeah.
And you learn later it's called the goat pit. But there is also Charles's body with the two bow and arrows in him. And you're like, okay, that's the guy from earlier. And so she starts trying to climb out of the pit one-handed because her hand has been shot by a shitty little kid up top. And the ladder's broken. And it does this horrific thing where it shows us at the top of the ladder as she is trying to climb up that there is just a loose nail at the top. And they keep showing it to you. And then you realize, like, because the ladder's broken and she's sort of precariously dangling, she's going to have to throw herself up to grab onto the ledge. And then they show you the nail and you're like, she has a hole in her hand. She has a hole in her hand.
Stop it.
This scene, it's really hectic because it's worse too. It's so much worse than you think because she's got the hole in her hand. So she throws her hand, bang, straight on top of the nail. She's then got to get her hand off the nail.
I know, that's the bit that I was just like, just stay there.
Nah. Yeah, that's it. If I'm in a horror movie, I would just die in that goat pit. I'd be like, I'm not getting out of this pit. No one's gonna look.
I would have died in the dumbwaiter.
I would have died in the dumbwaiter. I would have listened to the instructions from my husband and escaped better. Although maybe not, because he sucks as well. I would have died in the goat pit. I know who I am.
Yeah. My number one comment on all my school reports was Catherine does not pay attention to instructions. So I know dumbwaiter, I'd be dead in the dumbwaiter. That's where I'm dying.
Yeah, it's horrific. And then but then it just like then she puts it down and then she has to pull it off and she's just covered in like guts and shit and her dress is just fucked because she then rips it off to turn into a band-aid and she's just like shit's fucked for her at this point. You want her to like look, if you weren't rooting for her at the start of the movie, you certainly are by the time she gets a nail through that hand because
there's two things I thought of in this scene.
Yes.
One, she must smell really bad. And two, how many tetanus shots is she gonna have to get now?
That was it. My thought exactly, because she's like, I'll put this dress on the wound, the dress that is like black because it has been in the pit of dead God. Like she's lost that hand. That hand's gone now.
It's gonna rot and drop off.
Yeah, the sequel to Ready or Not, she's one-armed. Like she's got one arm.
Yeah.
She's just
ew.
It's bleak, that whole sequence. That's the hardest. That's the hardest sequence to watch in this whole movie. The rest is fun. Oh, there's one other bad one, which is immediately after this when she's trying to squeeze out the gate.
Oh yeah. So she runs to the gate.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I actually made a comment. I can imagine she's going to need to be covered in tetanus shots after this.
Yeah. Oh, just roll around in needles.
Yeah,
full of tetanus shots, not dirty needles.
Yeah.
She's already basically done that.
Yeah, she just did that in the goat pit.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, I just felt really like, ow, my back muscles.
Oh, everything.
Ow.
Everything. But that's that thing of horror, right? Like, what's the movie where they're in the cave and it's bad?
Do not say The Descent.
The Descent.
Oh. That movie gave me nightmares. And I don't dream, but that movie actually gave me nightmares.
That movie is terrifying. But again, it's the same thing. Like, how much punishment can you put a person through? Like, she falls into blood holes. She falls into gut holes, bones, pits.
Oh, I forgot about,
Like, she gets put through the ringer. And the same thing here. Like, at this point, you're like, nah, Grace has got to survive because she is just, like, shredded herself on a gate. She's cut her hand open. And then the dude is driving on the highway and she flags him down and he's like, get off the fucking road.
He's like, get off the road.
Just,
And she's like, fucking rich people.
But yeah, then things get a bit stressful.
Yeah, this is like pretty close to like the last, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, this is the back half.
We're
on the home straight now, yeah.
Yeah. And so she's noticed that Stevens is looking for her through a torch kind of thing. And so she takes off through the woods.
Yep.
But he meets her... Excuse me.
That's okay.
I realise my Discord's open. He meets her, like, on the other side. I don't know how he gets there. Because she's in, like, a park, isn't she?
She's in the woods across... So, but you get another great delivery of exposition where... They realise they've lost her, and Tony flips out.
Yeah.
And just says fuck a lot, and then he's like, Adam Brody and everyone in the room is like, but this is, like, it's not real. The devil's not actually gonna kill us. And he's like, do you remember what happened to the Van Horns? There was a house fire. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you how they actually died. Like, so...
Yeah.
I like in this film universe that rich people get their powers from Satan. It's kind of nice to know.
Which is probably...
that's probably accurate.
What happens in the real world.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos sacrificed so many goats to become a billionaire. You cannot convince me otherwise.
The other day I asked my dad... my dad asked me where he can get some Warhammer paints from for his tin soldiers. And I was like, just go into Amazon. You can probably get a whole kit or whatever. And he's like, I'm not buying anything from Amazon.
Oh, what a good man.
But when I said... Are you on the Jeff Bezos hate wagon? And he's like, who? No, he didn't want to buy anything from Amazon because he thought it came all the way from America and not from Australia.
Oh, okay. So...
But I was going to have a really proud moment of my dad and be like, Dad.
Welcome, comrade.
Fuck Jeff
The revolution
Bezos.
begins tomorrow. But no, alas.
My dad's a socialist, it's fine.
Oh, well, that's good. So he's ready to go. He's ready to go.
He's ready.
Nah, this movie's great too because, again, all the villains are rich. All the rich people are bad. It's just
great.
Shows you that there's no way they can get rich without literally satanic intervention.
Or making really unreasonable sacrifices.
Yeah, of people and goats.
Of people. and goats and whatever else is in that pit.
Oh, it
looks like eggs.
It looks like all the rotten shit in the world. It's just an awful, like if you survive the rest of the night, would you want to? Because you're just dying of sepsis or something, surely.
Yeah,
surely
I don't know what you can catch from it.
Right, and everything. Yeah. They're going to have to amputate every part. You're going to be a potato, just like a head and a torso. I'm going to amputate everything off you to... Yeah, nah.
I love potatoes. But
not that much.
Human
not
ones.
Enough to become one.
Not human ones. No. And this is a really cool scene where she dodges his car in the woods.
Yes.
And I was just like, yes, you're gonna get away.
She chokes him out with her dress.
Yeah. That was so cool. I was just like, I knew you had it in you.
But then, alas, she steals the car to escape, and Justin is just not prepared to help her.
No, Justin's a dick.
It's just a great sequence where I think, in terms of a horror movie survivor, your final girl, she does an incredible job. She learns from her mistakes. She tries so hard, but so many things are stacked against her. She makes the right call to immediately tool up with some guns. The bullets aren't real. Okay, no worries. Oh, there's this kid. All right, I'm going to get this kid to help me. Nah, the kid's a piece of shit as well. All right, well, I'm going to climb out of this pit. Nah, nail through your hand. All right, I'm going to sneak out through this fence. The fence has got you. I'm going to wave down this car for help. Nah, he's a piece of shit. I'm going to beat the butler in this fight and steal his car. Nah, Justin from Roadside Assist stops the car because you've stolen it. Just at every turn, she's trying so hard to succeed, and it's just give the girl a break. And she doesn't get one.
I loved the Justin scene. Oh. I was really waiting for him to be, how would you rate my customer service out of 5?
Oh, there's no need for that profanity, man. Yeah, well, fuck you, Justin.
Yeah, I loved that.
Also,
and unfortunately,
the other good bit of profanity is when the guy doesn't pull over out the front of the house when she's trying to escape, and he drives away, and she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, motherfucking pin-dicked, little fucking needle-cocked fuckhead?" Just this string. It's like a 10-15 second burst of just profanity, and it's great.
And do you know what? I think that was that would have had to have been absolutely what's the word? Improvised, because there's a lot of Australian insults in that.
Pindict is that's I haven't heard that since I was 14.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Pindict, I was like, oh, she wrote this sentence. Because I don't think there's a lot of Americans that would use Pindict as a insult.
No, it feels like home.
It did, didn't it?
But unfortunately, she keeps. Everything's conspiring against her, and she gets captured again.
Yeah, even though Justin was like, the police will be right with you, and then Stevens catches up to her.
And you get the other great sequence of the film.
Yes, did you enjoy this?
Oh, this is so good, this whole scene.
I loved this. And so he's tranquilized her, and she's in the back seat, and he's on his way back to the house, video chatting with the family on his dashboard camera. And he's got the 1812 Overture absolutely blasting in the car.
Yeah.
So he can't hear the family.
No.
And they see Grace regaining consciousness, and she's like, wait a sec. And you can see her face okay, how am I going to get out of here? And it absolutely just kicks him multiple times to the face, and it was just so brutally good.
It's a very good, and they're just the family are just screaming into the iPhone, Stevens, turn the fuck around. Because again, this is the other thing, is the stakes are ratcheting up for them, because it's getting closer and closer to dawn, and even though not everyone believes that something bad is going to happen, enough of them do. And you also get, in about this moment, you get that really nice scene where the mum goes up to see Alex in the bedroom. It's either just after this scene where they've gone out to go find her, and she sits down, she talks to him, and she's like, look, you've got to understand that you just if he's if you kill her, I'll kill you. And she's like, well, I guess I'm dead already. Like, it's a really nice scene. And then he's like really angry at her and fighting and fighting and fighting. And again, they just sprinkle little breadcrumbs out when she says, if you didn't believe that this was real, you wouldn't have made her pull a card.
Yeah.
If you didn't think that we had to go through this, you wouldn't have done it. But you did. So you came back. You are part of this family, whether you wanted to or not. You can fight it as much as you like. And just the look on his face where he's like, fuck, you're right. Like, fuck you. Like, I did come back because I thought something bad was going to happen. And I hate you for being right. And it's like, there's the family part in him. So again, when he ultimately, spoilers, betrays Grace over his family, it's not out of the blue because you've sprinkled enough of it with Helene talking about it, with then the mum having this really nice scene with him. And she's a great character too because she's an outsider as well, and she's just trying to keep her family together, so you kind of understand where she's coming from to a degree.
Yeah, she's just protective and wants, the best possible outcome for her family, and she's going to do whatever it takes to get there, even if it does mean sacrificing her son's bride. Because that's just, you gotta sacrifice things sometimes.
People. So
I mean, I've never done that.
No. And then
so I don't know what it feels like.
I mean, you were talking. I don't know. I'm a bit sus. You brought it up again. You talked about how you wanted to start a cult where you wanted people to sacrifice themselves to you. And you were like, oh, but it'd just be poison. You've given way too much thought to having people sacrifice things to you for it to be a coincidence.
I'm like the People's Temple.
Is that like The Rock being the People's Champion? Is that you're the People's Temple?
You don't know who the People's Temple is?
Who is the People's Temple?
The cult that drank the Kool-Aid and they all died.
I just know that as Brian Jones. I didn't know what they're actually called.
Oh, maybe it's Brian Jones.
I feel like there's Kool-Aid in a lot of cults.
Yeah.
Brian Jones is the one where there's the one, maybe the People's Temple. Is that the one where they didn't go to Bolivia or wherever. They just did it in like a church?
Yeah.
Man.
And they all wore the same clothes and stuff, like the same Nike shoes.
Oh, that's... Yeah, like, on one hand, though,
tracksuits.
cult's very easy. Someone's telling you what to dress with. Like, no one's laughing at you for having weird clothes because everyone's got weird clothes.
Just like school.
Exactly. Oh, school's a cult.
Oh, watch out. Well, the Liberal Party thinks that we're trying to indoctrinate their children, so...
Yeah, we are. Didn't you see when you're heading out and indoctrinate kid leaflets? That's what I do when I'm not podcasting.
Oh.
That's my job. Indoctrinating kids on killing the rich by making them
agenda.
watch Ready or Not.
Eating rich, forcing kids to be transgender. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's what I do. That's how we roll here, comrade. Anyway, back on topic. Back to the movie.
Isn't that a communism thing?
Sure, it's all the same, right? Isn't that what we're all doing?
I should know this, but and so after Grace has kicked Stevens in the face, there's this really cool slow motion scene as they're like tumbling and like the car's flipped, and it's just really cool because Stevens is out cold.
Well, he dead. He's gone. Yeah, he's see you later, Stevens.
Sorry, Stevens. Not gonna miss you.
Nah, you're a dickhead. You suck.
You're scum.
Yeah.
And Grace and it lands in the clearing right where Daniel is.
Yeah.
And I love how he's just like, oh, well, there goes my tranquility.
Yeah, he's annoyed again because he's like, I just want this to be over. Oh, this is...
Yeah.
I should have told this ages ago. One of my favourite running gags in the film is everyone asking if killing the maids counts and Aunt Helene getting furious because it doesn't count. No, why does everyone think killing the maids counts? Oh, it's good. It's good. But yeah.
Did that count?
But yeah, you get a really nice scene between Daniel and Grace where she's like, if you go through with this, Alex will never forgive you. She's just tugging on his heartstrings so perfectly, and then he hits her in the face with the butt of his gun because he's like, you don't know who I am. I'm not a good person. I'm a bad person. But again, he's the best person because he's the one with enough wherewithal and hindsight and privilege to acknowledge that, no, he's the bad guy in this.
Yeah.
They're not good people. None
He's
of them.
taking accountability.
Yeah, and because you've earlier had that great scene with him and Emily in the goat pit where they're talking about how they're the fuck-ups in the family and how it's all terrible. And it's like, I just think, we shouldn't be doing this anymore. Maybe we deserve to die. And she says, but my kids don't. And you're like, you're right, mate. Do the kids necessarily deserve to die? Then you remember, no, they do. That kid's shot.
No, your kid's an asshole.
Yeah. And then again,
it
crystallizes for Daniel when he just has that look on his face where when the kid comes out, he's like, I shot her mum. And mum's like, I'm so proud of you. And he just looks at that and he's like, this whole family's fucked. This whole family's fucked. The kids
They're
are
all fucked.
Like, maybe the kid, and that's him being like, maybe the kids do deserve to die. Maybe we all deserve to die.
Maybe they should go.
Yeah.
Yeah, take them out. And I think Daniel's saying some stuff, about how he's not a good person and whatnot, because his dad steps out from a tree and he's just like, I knew you were there. Yeah. And the heads or tails, to flip, to move a body.
Just stop it, Dad. I don't care.
How many times have these people done this?
Oh, it's too many. Too many.
Why are you flipping a coin? What?
But yeah, when they finally get her inside and it's ritual time, baby.
Yeah. And I really, because I just really love the end scene. It is the ultimate end scene of a film. So obviously, this ritual has started and they're all chanting all these words and blah 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 blah, and they're all drinking from this one chalice. And they're passing it around, and then they all start to vomit everywhere.
Yep. And
that's because Daniel's put hydrochloric acid into the chalice to help Grace escape.
Yeah, he's poisoned.
So
he has that great line. She's like, are they going to be okay? It's like, they'll shit weird for a week. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I was just like, nailed it. Yeah. That's awesome. And this is where Daniel's behavior in the woods makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, I've got to do everything I can to get her to the house, and then I'll help her from there.
Yeah. But there's that great bit though where they're under the stairs and she's like, I knew you were going to help me. And he's like, I didn't. Just that bit where he's like, I didn't know I was going to do this until I realized, no, I'm going to do this. And I think it happens earlier than the movie lets on. I think it is that beat in the barn where he realizes that, oh no, the whole family's fucked. It's not even, his sister's right in it. The kids are both fucking in it. This has to stop. It's got to stop somewhere.
Yeah, it's insane.
So he's already halfway there by the time he runs into Grace.
Yeah. And when they step out from under the stairs to leave, and they run into Daniel's wife.
Scaredy.
Who is a fucking bitch.
And
she doesn't say anything, really.
She says,
before
there's that throwaway line of hers when he's like, Charity, come on. She's like, you don't care that I'll die.
Yes.
If you don't kill her, I'll die. You don't care that I'm going to die. And then she shoots him in the throat.
Yeah, which I was devastated, but...
That's right. She gets the shit kicked out of her by Samara Weaving in literally the next sequence.
She gets her ass kicked.
Yeah.
And Alex has escaped in amongst all of this hoo-ha.
Yeah.
And he finds Daniel dead on the ground, and he tries to save him, but it's too late, and made me really sad because his brother's probably become this alcoholic because of how shitty his family is, and then
absolutely.
he dies because of his family, and it's just like, oh, he got dealt such a shitty hand.
But his intervention saves Grace. He saves. He makes his final act is a good choice. He finally is he's a good guy. Finally, he's the whole movie. He's like, I'm a bad guy who makes bad choices. You don't know who I am, and then he finally makes the right call. It kills him, but at this point he's like, no, we're done. We're done. This whole shit is not sustainable. We can't do this any longer. So yeah, he lets Grace go. Alex gets to say goodbye, and then we get the smackdown between Grace and
Becky.
And Becky.
Who shoots tries to shoot her
with the arrow,
with a bow and arrow, and misses.
but then explains, it's been a while.
Yeah, don't worry.
And then I think the idea of that is, again, that's just a throwaway line, but just watching that movie, that throwaway line is like, oh, she's a bit rusty. She killed Charles. She's the one who plugged Charles on Helene's wedding night. So she's actually just as bad as the rest of them. She's not just doing... Yeah, she's doing it for her family, but she knows that it's bad, and she's still doing it. And so, fuck you, Andie MacDowell. And then she gets the absolute shit kicked out of her. Just gets smashed in the face with a box over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic that it's the card box from Mr. LaBelle that Samara Weaving uses to absolutely destroy her face.
Well, kill her, basically.
Yeah, she bludgeons her to death. And Alex actually walks in and sees this whole scene.
Yep.
And it's at that point where, he's trying to speak to Grace and he says, you're not going to be with me after all of this.
Yeah, he says, he asks her the question, he says, you're not going to be with me after this, are you? Which again, just so beautifully set up in early on. He's like, if I told you what was going to happen, you would have left me. He's lost Daniel, who was the only sort of person who was keeping him going through this. He then loses his mum, and the worst part is, he's lost his mum at the hands of Grace. So he's like, you killed my family. And again, it's that part of his brain that just can't get away from family. So the minute he says, you're not going to be with me after this, are you? And she doesn't say anything. She just kind of looks at him. But the look in her face is like, that's a complicated question to answer. And then he grabs her and is like, she's in here.
Rats her out. Fucking dick.
But again...
I hated him in this part.
At that point, the minute he walks in on her kill... I remember the first time I saw this. The minute he walks in on her killing the mum, I'm like, that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
He already had it in him the whole way through. He just needed to be steered in the wrong direction enough times. And again, it's been beautifully set up that he is like a dime away from turning on Grace, who is only... Again, the mum says, someone who's only known you for a year and a half knows you better than me. It's like, no, she doesn't. She doesn't actually know me because she doesn't know anything about this. She doesn't know what it's like to be in this family. It's real. She's... Fuck it. I've got to kill her. I've got to...
Oh.
And... You suck, Alex. At this point.
Alex, you're fucking shit.
But I tell you what, then the movie just... Yeah. Oh boy.
I love this. So they decide at that point that they've really got to hurry up because it's getting super close to dawn. Yep. And so the whole family is like holding Grace down, and Alex is above her with a knife ready to stab her in the chest. And she manages to wriggle free of the hold that they've got, and he goes to stab her and it's like in her shoulder.
Yep.
And so she grabs the knife and she's like stabbing it towards him, like, keep away from me.
There's a really nice beat there too, where earlier Henry, that's the actor's name, Tony calls her a goat. She's just a fucking goat. And in that final bit when she's got the knife, she sounds like a goat. She's like screaming and making these weird sounds that make her sound like a wild animal because she's just like, nah, get fucked, get the fuck out. She's broken. She's done. She's absolutely at her wit's end. It is game over. And it is also game over because as she escapes, it's dawn, baby. Sun's up.
Well, the sun has come up and she's waving this knife around at everybody, which means that they didn't get the ritual done on time.
But of course,
I love that they're all...
Devil's not real, so nothing happens.
It's not real anyway.
No.
Nothing happens.
No.
But I love that they're all...
They all shit themselves.
Bracing for something to happen to them.
And they all look so awkward when nothing happens.
And it's just like, okay, cool. Not dying. Nice. I like this. But Helene decides that she's going to kill Grace anyway.
Yeah.
Because she's fucking nutters.
Yeah.
And as she's about to swing her axe at Grace, she explodes.
This ending is one of, I think, all-time greatest endings to a movie ever.
Yeah.
If you had sat me down at the start of Ready or Not and been like, this is how this movie ends, I would not have believed you. And yet it is so satisfying, and it... Like, this ending is insane. They just all explode in, like, showers of blood and guts. All of them.
It's great. I loved it.
And Grace is just standing there, like, laughing as they all explode one by one. And it's just... and then the last one standing is, of course, Alex. And he's like, see, I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And I'm fine. See, look, he didn't blow me up. I'm okay. And then she pulls the ring off and is like, I want a divorce. Throws the ring at him. He explodes.
It was so good.
So fantastic.
So perfect.
It's the perfect ending to that movie.
Yeah, the house is on fire.
The house is on fire. Yep.
Because a candelabra lantern had previously caught onto the house, and it's so funny because that's how that previous family had died,
the
in
Van
a
Horns
house fire.
In a house fire, yeah.
Yeah, and we see like a flicker of Mr. LaBelle at the head of the table, and he kind of gives her like a...
You did it, well done.
Good work. Good shit.
Yeah, well...
Love it. Love your work.
The nod is great from him, because he's like, you won. So when you were going to get... You deserve to survive. I'm a man of my word. If you survive the night, you get to survive. They all die.
Yeah, because they all made a deal with the devil.
I also think this has one of the best... Like, just a great final shot of her sitting on the steps where she got married. She's covered in blood. She's stolen the cigarette case from the mum's body. The house is on fire behind her, and she's just lights and starts. It must be the best cigarette I think a person has ever had in their life.
She's ever had in her whole life. Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's just good.
My favourite line is this last final line in the entire movie when the police officer says to her, Jesus Christ, what happened to you? And she just replies, in-laws.
Yep. It's just, it's fun, it's dumb, it's a ridiculous...
It's great.
The whole movie is a joke where the punchline is in-laws can be hell. Like, that's the movie.
Yeah.
Imagine being like, hey, we're going to write a 90-minute horror film in which the entire punchline is in-laws are hell. Literal hell.
Yeah. Where in-laws are just shit.
It's...
Not that mine are, so...
I also don't have to experience satanic in-laws, so that's a bonus for both of us and everyone.
I mean, mine are Serbian Orthodox. Does that count?
Do they sacrifice goats? How many goats get killed by them? Nah, well then you're good.
No.
You're good.
Nah, we're all good.
You're good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to die in a game of hide and seek.
Yeah, no, but if they ever present you at a dinner with a box with a game in it, just leave. Get up, walk out the door.
I'll just leave. Yeah. I'll just go. It's fine. I'll get the fuck out of there.
No, it's just, it's the perfect ending. And again, I think the reason I love this film so much is it's fun and it's absurd. And they're the horror movies that I like. I like a horror movie where I can care about a character and you care about Grace so quickly in that. And I like a horror movie that takes those scary, ridiculous nature of horror and makes it fun. This is a horror movie I can rewatch as opposed to like a Midsummer or a Descent where I'm like, I don't want to fucking watch that again.
I don't want to watch that again ever.
Man,
but this, comedy horror is a real big thing for me. Like Evil Dead is my favorite horror movie of all time. And it's so funny because my dad and people my dad's age, when I speak to them about horror movies, when I talk about The Evil Dead being my favourite movie, they're all, that movie's horrifying. That movie's so scary. I was like, that's a comedy, right?
Yeah, but still, the first-person camera shots of it flying through the wood, they're bad.
I like them.
The trees are bad.
Because they're kind of like... in 2013 Evil Dead, the trees are very bad.
2013 Evil Dead is... The ending of that is almost as cooked as the ending of... Actually, no, the ending of that is more cooked than the ending of this.
More cooked, yeah.
Jeez.
It's probably one of my favourite endings of horror movies as well.
There is so much blood in that final...
It's insane, huh?
15 minutes. Oh.
It's like, wow.
It's cooked. Everyone's an idiot in that movie.
I really enjoyed it.
That's the See, the reason I like Ready or Not is they circumvent the whole idea of her not buying into it because... Yeah, she's oblivious to start, but the minute things get serious, she's in.
Yeah.
Because in that Evil Dead remake, they're like, maybe something's wrong. It's like, too late. You took way too long to realise something was wrong, you idiots. That girl's carving her face up in the bedroom.
Oh. Yeah, that's a movie I take a long time to rewatch.
Yeah.
I probably haven't watched it since 2013, to be honest. So
Yeah, it's gory. It's yuck.
it's a lot.
It's
for
good
me.
though,
but
it's yuck.
It is really great. It's just a few scenes are a little bit too much for me. So
it's like the nail in the hand in Ready or Not, but it's there's 10 of them, and some of them are syringes to eyeballs.
Oh.
Yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Glad I could bring it up for you.
I'm really glad you brought that up. Because it'll remind me why I never want to watch it again. But I really do like, I can't remember who directed that.
It's the guy who did that other movie that she's in that I haven't seen. That's helpful, isn't it? Don't Breathe.
Oh, yeah.
That's the director.
I can't remember his name. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's 9:30, so my brain's like, I don't know what you want from me. You want to recall information from 10 years ago?
No, you're done. You're absolutely done.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for getting me to finally watch it. I really appreciate it.
Look, I'm glad I can share that movie with the world. It's just because I want people to watch it so then they can message you, be like, that ending. It's like, yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my sisters and I just did that with Ratched on Netflix. So we were all three of us were watching it at the same time, and when it got to the ending, we were all just like, what the fuck was that? Is
that the Nurse Ratched one? What's the name?
With Sarah Paulson?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Please watch if you can.
Okay, well I'll watch that instead of watching Dawson's Creek, which you told me not to watch. So.
Yeah. I'll watch The Haunting of Hill House because I spent 3 episodes crying.
No, I've watched both that and Bly Manor, and Hill House for me is so scary, and it's
really?
Because it's the perfect combination that it gets me because I care about them. I care about them all so much. So I care about them, and then the jump scares, not even the jump scares, just there's that bit in the first episode where they literally just that scene where they're running out of the house and you don't see the older brother's looking over the shoulder and you don't see what he sees, but what he sees is terrifying. And you're like, what are you looking at? The bent neck, like so many things in that movie are horrifying. I screamed out loud watching that show.
Oh wow! The jump scares definitely got me, but I spent the episode 3 to episode 6 crying my eyes out.
Oh yeah,
and then the last episode bawling my eyes out.
That's it. Like it's the heart that gets you. It's like same with like Bly Manor. Yeah. There's some really creepy shit in Bly Manor, but at the end of the day, the thing that I enjoyed about it, I was like, oh, I care about all of these people. Oh no.
Yeah.
And once I care about people...
I'm up to episode 4 for that one, or episode 3, I'm not sure.
Oh man, yeah. Good to have a good time. There's a really great episode coming up that it's just gonna fuck you up, I guess.
Everyone says it's pretty chilled compared to Hill House.
It's not as scary as Chilled House, but there's definitely just some really awful imagery in that show.
Yeah. There hasn't been so far, which has been... I'm on to the nurse, though. The older lady. I'm on to her. Not the nurse. The house general manager of the house.
The shaved head woman with the shaved head.
Hannah,
yeah.
Hannah. I'm on to her.
Okay. Good luck, I guess.
She doesn't eat. She doesn't drink her tea. I'm on to her.
All right. I'll give you that.
Sus. Hannah is sus. So, before we say our farewells, what is the last horror movie that you watched?
So the last one I watched was one we did for Scaredy Boys. We had a guest on who when we get guests on, they give us a movie to watch and we watch it and we talk about it. And the movie was Dreamcatcher.
I don't know that one.
It is based on a Stephen King novel, and we all know that he loved cocaine. It turns out that he also loves OxyContin. And he wrote this movie after a car accident on Oxy in a space of 6 months, and he wrote the entire story in cursive. and it's a 620 page book. They've compressed it into like a 2-hour movie, and it is quite possibly the most insane movie I have ever seen. There are worms that come out of your butthole. They are the villain of the movie. There's also Morgan Freeman with some of the most incredible prosthetic eyebrows I've ever seen. Damian Lewis is off his head in it. Thomas Jane is in it and he hates it and he's only doing it because his mum told him to be in the movie. And that's a true story.
What?
Donnie Wahlberg is in it and he plays like a kid with an intellectual disability. And it's like, Donnie Wahlberg, don't do that. You can't make that in a movie. That's a bad... It is off its head. That is the last horror movie I watched, and I can thoroughly recommend if you just like, I feel like watching something absolutely fucking insane that might be terrible.
That's it.
Watch Dreamcatcher.
Okay, I'm into it. I'm into anything Stephen King, so...
Well, yeah, this is like, you know when King's like off his head?
Yeah.
Yes, this is that. This is...
Well, that's when he wrote Needful Things as well.
Yes. Literally,
yeah.
It's an incredible...
Something else.
In an interview recently with Rolling Stone, he said he regrets writing the book and publishing it because he was so drugged up on painkillers after his car accident that he doesn't think it's his best work. And it's just... The movie is... Timothy-Olyphant's in it as well. They have like superpowers. Someone gets bit on the dick. It's just... So much is happening. People are like farting constantly. That's like this like dangerous thing. Is that like if you start farting, you're gonna die. There are aliens in it as well. There are so many things happening. Oh, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And
I'm gonna ask my grandma if she's seen that.
Dreamcatcher. It came out it's not an older film. It's like 2001 or 2.
Oh, she might have.
But yeah, Dreamcatcher.
Just because my grandma watches shit like that.
Oh,
and I'm just like.
It's written and directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who did like Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
So he wrote and directed this movie, and it's like, why, man? You wrote Star Wars. You wrote Indiana Jones. Why are you writing a movie about anus worms and farting people?
Anus.
The movie's off its head. So watch it, and then there'll be an episode on Scaredy Boys about it at some point in the future.
Oh, I can't wait. Because my partner's coming down for Halloween. I'm throwing a Halloween party for my nieces. And I was going to watch The Craft Legacy, but now I think I'm going to watch that.
Nah, look, see, you've got to be in the right mood for Dream. It's not good. Just so you know.
That's fine.
Okay.
We've been watching the entire Friday 13th series.
Oh, man, I love that first one. That's so great, the first one. Everyone's like, the first one sucks. And I'm like, nah, it's awesome. All the teenagers suck.
Teenagers do suck.
It's great. They play a game of Strip Monopoly, which is the dumbest game in the history of the world.
How do you play Strip Monopoly?
Get a deck of cards and play Strip Poker. It's like, oh, let's play Strip Cluedo. If you get a guess wrong, you've got to take off a piece of clothing the colour of the character that you guessed.
I mean, if someone bought a house, no, that doesn't work. If someone bought a house on your property.
That's how they play Strip Monopoly in Friday the 13th. Is if you land on someone else's property, instead of paying them, you've got to pay clothes.
Buy a house. Sucks to be them.
Right.
Still a stupid game. That game would take forever for people to get naked.
It would, because it's a long game. Yeah.
It got banned in my house. Because my sister and I we'd punch on over Mayfair and Park Avenue. So
okay.
We weren't allowed.
I know Monopoly for you. Maybe watch Dreamcatcher instead.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So to wrap it up, can you please tell everybody where we can find you and your podcast?
Yeah. As I said, I'm part of a network called Sanspants Radio. You should just jump online, type in sanspantsradio.com, and you'll see all the shows that we do. There's heaps. There's shows, comedy shows. There's, like I said, D&D shows. There's movies and footy and all sorts of wild stuff on there. So yeah, check that out. And the shows that I am on, a show called How Good's Footy. So if you like AFL, How Good's Footy is the show. It's a sad episode this week because I'm a Geelong supporter and we just lost the grand final, so it's not a great episode to listen to this week.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. And Scaredy Boys, obviously, is the other one. So, and that's a show that's out every Friday, and it's just us, talking about horror movies and how we'd survive them. So listen to that. If you're looking for me, I'm on Twitter. At Awkward Treed is where to find me. I'm also on Letterboxd on the same thing. So if you just search that, you should find me on Letterboxd as well, which is a great app because you can review movies.
I love it.
It's good.
I absolutely love it. More people should use it.
Yeah, absolutely. But so that's where you can find me. That's me. Thank you for having me on. It was
awesome.
A delight to come on and talk about exploding people.
Definitely one of my favourite movies of the podcast so far. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
No, thank you very much.